If tight pants, pigskins, and men with sultry ASMR voices aren't your thing, well, then maybe you want to listen to another podcast. But if you are, then this will be next on Live Free and Ham. Hello, and welcome to the Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. We're thrilled to have you here. So whether you're a regular listener or tuning in for the first time, thanks again for joining us and hanging out with us in this episode. So let's get into our show. I'm your host, Eric, callsign N1JUR, and I'm with...
Paul, N1OG.
and we got a special guest tonight.
K5YVY.
There you go.
Oh,
and we you didn't have to further introduce that, man. Your voice is so popular. Everyone knows it's Joe Brett. Very cool. Well, we're going to get some fun stuff in a bit and learn more a little about the Joe Brett there. I can't get my voice down that low. I don't know why. So with that, let's see how you guys can get more engaged with Live Free and Ham. You can always check us out on our Discords. That link is in all of our show notes and descriptions below. You can always leave us a voicemail. And boy, once again, we have many more in the queue there. It's becoming a popular series. We might actually have to have a segmented show part for their Izzo. He's left us a couple more. Apparently he's just really, really bored and works really, really slow. And you can do that by dialing at 978-233-1142. And as Paul always likes to say, you can call us for a good time. We got an all-star hub, and that is 580-5881. And we always try to have a live stream when once a month. We're really slackers here, and we apologize up front for those that have been patiently waiting for that, but we are lining things up for close to March time, and then hopefully we'll get back on a cycle once things calm down here a little bit. But you can do a couple other things in between. Head us over to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. Check out all the great merch over there. And if you want to support the show, like all of our Patreons here, they get unfettered access to our live stream every week when we do a record with our guests or just hang out in general. They get to hear all of the uncut, unedited versions of the show before they're released. We get a bunch of links for discounts and merch and a whole ton of other stuff. So what you're waiting for, and as we always like to say,
you can join for as little as $3 a month. It's not a big expense.
No, it's not. Thank you again, Bob, for being our number one fan. We always appreciate it. All right. So, as always, and we're going to be flying through stuff here. As you notice, Todd is sans, not here. And you can guess it's football, Super Bowl weekend. And these two guys here, meaning Paul and I, we can barely spell football sometimes. So, we're not be watching any games whatsoever. Hanging out with you guys.
The devil.
Yeah, look, Ma, the devil's on TV. So with that, we're going to dive into our mailbag.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Hey everybody, we got some news.
Slow down, Boog. Let me handle this. We've got some news. I've got bad news and bad news.
I have reviewed ship's personnel, Captain.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
All right. Well, I will be said mailbag Todd tonight. So with that, we got a couple things in the mailbag today. So let's dive into the quick email from one of our listeners, TJ. TJ writes, I finally remembered to sit down and type out an email to the show. Well, thank you, TJ. Appreciate it. It's only been 5 months and counting. Not bad. Not bad. I enjoy the show for the ham radio content. We do ham radio content, guests, and the banter. Uniquely, I also use the show to keep up with the happenings at the home club. Okay, cool. It keeps, I'm sad. I just realized that we've talked about a lot of bad things on past shows about our home club and stuff. So my apologies, TJ. But glad you're still sticking around. It keeps me engaged when the conversations are about the people who I have met in real life, some whom I've shared breakfast or a microphone with. Paul, one day I'll make contact with, but at least we run into some of the same circles. Knowing exactly what Todd was talking about during the episode with Izzo about Ralph, aka the Quanchang King, which is our president of our club. He has literally got a bad habit of buying every Quanchang at least 3-4 times over. So if you ever need one, he might be your guy. Had me shaking my head in agreement. Hearing stories stories about familiar names like Tim, Kim, and Bill fills me in on the lore that is G. Sarah, Live Free and Ham. The format's great. Come for the topic, laugh with the banter. Your G. Sarah member in exile, N7TJG. TJ, thank you again for sending us an awesome email as always. Yep, and we appreciate you hanging out with us still, even though you are outside the bounds of, actually, no, you're in Pennsylvania, so you're still in the Northeast there, so you still kind of share that, so we appreciate that. So, with that, do we want to do win links or do we want to do the voicemails next?
Well, why don't we do win links so that you can take a breath? Because
yeah, please.
I feel like you just need to slow it down just a little bit.
Man, make up your mind. The show's too long. The show's too short. The show's too long. It's like, never get it right. You're never happy. Anyway, go on.
I am easy to please, good sir. But
Sure.
all right, so today's win link comes from our favorite WinLink person, N2MAK. He writes, testing a new radio. Paul, Eric, and Todd, what's up? I'm testing out a new radio I'm setting up. If you got this, then it's working. I'm using the DB50B Radioddities version of the VGC N7600 and the BTEC UV50 Pro. Yes, spurious commissions are involved. It's a 50-watt mobile with APRS and KISS TNC, but no keypad. Everything, including the display, is baked into the speaker mic, and there's an app for the smartphone, too. This is going to take some getting used to, but it'll be really handy for APRS and WinLink for sure. Anyway, I hope all is well, and I'm always looking forward to the next podcast and video. 73 Mike N2MAK.
He didn't
Thanks
put
for
in
that,
his.
Mike.
He didn't put his discount code in that message.
Code N2MAK for a discount with Radiology.
We don't know how much. It's a discount though. Very cool. Nice job, Mike, as always. Did we have one or two? I couldn't remember if you told me we had two. We had one?
That was it.
Okay.
Just the one.
All right,
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, enough of this. Apparently, we're becoming a regular thing here with, giving Izzo our, voicemail number. Apparently, he's a lonely individual, and the clubhouse does not keep him busy enough. So, he's been leaving regular voicemail messages, and you've all heard it so far up to this point. And so we're going to play the two that he's left us so far, and I'm sure more are coming next week. So here we go with the first one.
Hey, man, it's me. I haven't talked to you in a couple days because it's been cold. But did you hear that fucking groundhog saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks? What the hell is going on? Now, I know you northerners are used to that stuff with snow on the mountains and then all this other stuff and mud and black flies and shit. But, man, down
This
here
Connecticut isn't in the north.
Like, really?
Oh, well, keep wearing the mittens and the gloves and the long underwear and other stuff. And there was something else I wanted to tell you.
I can only imagine.
Or ask for help. Oh, I haven't studied at all. I don't give a shit. I don't think I give a shit about my X-ray. So you can tell Todd I said that. Bye. 7-3. Talk soon.
Oh, I got to unpack a lot. That's a lot, man. Joe Brett, any comment? You guys are the proponents of moving forward with extra by, April.
That's all I can say is I hope Shane doesn't hear that. So.
I know Shane was bullshit last episode. So. Which, I can only imagine he's going to be like that little stubborn child that, always screams in the middle of the mall when they don't get their candy or whatever. Yeah. That might be Izzo.
And it's interesting to learn that Izzo considers himself a Southerner. So.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I'm thinking he's Texan because he can't handle the damn cold, apparently. How long has he been in Connecticut? I think most of his life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's gone nowhere else. All right. Well, with that, Izzo, thank you again for those, insights there. But we're getting one more from you.
Hey, do you guys know that fortune cookies do not come from China? They come from San Francisco. And did you know that Oreos are technically vegan? And finally, your taste buds renew every 10 to 14 days. So does that mean I'm going to eventually like barbecue potato chips? Not a fucking chance. Have a good day. Be safe.
He's just going to try it every 2 weeks.
Exactly. 10-second Tom. Nope, still don't like it. It's good to see that, Izzo is branching out and he's, using ChatGPT in his regular, everyday life now. All right. Well, thank you, Izzo, for those, we'll say, wise bits of wisdom, maybe. And, asking for us to help you out, it was a bad idea. I think we should have left that number private.
We left him tied up in the chair.
Yes, we got to reschedule that video again. We definitely got to put him in a box in the middle of a basement somewhere and feed him only bread and water.
Barbecue flavor.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you guys again for all of the wonderful emails. And you can always yourself send us one at livefreeandham@gmail.com or hit us up on the website. Or if you're so compelled, hit us up on the voicemail, please. We need a little bit more variety. That's all I'm going to ask. So that number is 978-233-1142. And so with that, we only got one thing that we want to kind of bring your attention to, which is the future show of the YLs. So we're doing a big YL porta potty. Because in March, it's International Women's Day. So we've invited all the coolest ladies on our show in March 6th at... My gosh, I'm just forgetting the time. We said 8 p.m. Yes, 8 p.m. Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong and step on my feet to let me know that I am. But either way, we've got a huge lineup. They're going to be all talking about some really cool stuff on what ladies are doing in, both, the POTA community, outside the POTA community, soda, every aspect of it. So we want you guys to come hang out with us and learn more. But we've got some really cool names. We've got Shannon, KC1OHT coming. We've got the Hillbilly Hams, Shannon, K5YVY, Ellie Marie, KJ5X, LXP, Sandy from POTA Back Swamp, Julie from POTA Power, Michelle from POTA, and Amy. Those are the Queens of the Mountain folks, and Paula too as well. And so we've got many more that keep adding to the list. So it's going to be a fun night. I think we're going to end up having to rotate through because we only have got 10 slots to be able to put everybody in here, but all in all, it's going to be a fun time for sure, and definitely, we're going to be outnumbered, which is awesome. So with that, definitely tune into that. We'll have that over on Live Free and Ham, and make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe bell and make sure you like the show so we, notify you. All right. We're going to skip over the usual something extra with Todd because he is not here, and you're an extra, Joe, right?
That's right.
Well, there we go. Then we've the trifecta once again. Last week we had Steve on and he did the same thing. So, and Shane before. So, it's just, we don't need to test it. I know it's a night off for you, Paul, which I don't know. Is that good or bad for you?
I give zero fucks. I enjoy doing the segment because I think it's beneficial to our viewers whether or not we're quizzing Todd.
Okay. All right. Well, if you feel compelled and you want to, we can, pause to this and cut to it, and I'll play Todd if you want to. you just let me know before we go.
You want to do tech questions?
Yeah, dude. Let's do tech questions. All right. Let's roll it. Why not? You get the little benefit. So here we go.
It's everyone's favorite segment.
And now, a little something extra with Todd. W1STJ.
Still a general.
All right. Well, we're going to skip through most of the rigmarole here, but this is where you've heard it. This is where we usually help Todd study. But today we're going to take a little bit of a spin, and we are going to test all three of our technical knowledge here in being the technician class licenses that how long have you been a ham there, Joe?
Since 2003.
Okay. All right. So you got a little bit of time. I got about 30 years. Paul's got about 5 or 6. So yeah, the test is cycled.
I just had my 5-year anniversary was last week. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you're good, Joe. Yeah, no problems there. All good with the audio. So, all right, with that, we're going to hand it over to our VE Quizmaster to test us on the technician class pool. Fire away, Mr. OG.
All right. Now, these questions are coming from the new pool, which comes into effect in June of this year.
Wow.
All right. So question number 1 comes from sub-element number 9. And the question is, which of the following is true of a PL259 type coax connector? Is it A, they are preferred for microwave operation? B, they are commonly used at HF and VHF frequencies? C, they are bayonet type connector? Or D, they are watertight?
Well, as we usually do this segment there, Joe, we'll leave it to the guest to pick an option if you so feel inclined. I definitely know what mine is, and it ain't D.
Wrong answers only, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Well, then I'm going to be tossing it up between A and D. So
right.
If you were to choose the correct one.
If I were to choose the correct one, the correct one, I believe, would be B.
Yes, I would agree 100%, sir. That is correct.
Yes. B is correct.
I knew it was going to be a test.
Not really. All answers are correct.
For those that are studying for their technician, a PL259 is the male plug half of the UHF connector family, and it mates with the SO239, the socket receptacle. It is the most commonly used connector type for mobile and tabletop amateur radio equipment and is widely used at HF and VHF frequencies. PL259 connectors are not watertight and should be protected from moisture when used outdoors. They are a threaded connector, not a bayonet type, and their performance degrades at higher frequencies. They can have significant loss above a few hundred megahertz, so they are not preferred for microwave operation.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right.
Paul, when a PL259 male connector meets a SO239 connector and they bond together, they create this great signal.
It's a coupling that will last a lifetime.
A lifetime, yes. Right. Vaseline, a little, rubber. Electrical tape goes long. This is the one time you can tell me. I can tell you, electrical tape will work.
and Vaseline. I'll tell you, I put Vaseline in all my connectors.
Yes, you do.
All right, hey boys, we're off to a great start. So, technician question number 2 comes from sub-element number 5. And the question is, electrical current is measured in which of the following units? Is it A, watts, B, ohms, C, amperes, or D, volts?
Ooh. Way to mix it up there.
I'll go with Charlie.
Current. Not to be confused. Amps are current. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Charlie as well, too. Yeah, I was going to say volts, but yeah, definitely amps now that we use current sticks out in my head.
And that would be the key word, yes.
Woohoo!
So, for those that are studying for their technician test that may not know this, volts is voltage, and that is the electromotive force or the electrical potential difference. It pushes charge, but is not the flow itself. Ohms is a unit of electrical resistance, which opposes the flow of current. Watts is a unit of electrical power, a rate of doing work equal to volts times amperes. And then you've got amperes, aka amps, which is a unit of electrical current. The rate of flow of an electric charge, current, is measured in amperes.
There we go.
There we go.
2 for 2.
All right. The third and final technician question of the evening comes from sub-element number 5. And the question is, what is the term for the flow of electrons in an electric circuit? Is it A, amperes per second, B, current, C, volts per second, or D, voltage?
Ooh, there's a little bit of a curve there.
It's worded kind of tricky, but
yeah,
I think I know.
I want to give it to D.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking voltage at that point because of the flow option. Yeah, I'm gonna go with D. Why not? I think it's probably current, but.
All right. Well, see, I'm gonna say the correct answer is current because it specifically says flow of electrons.
Okay.
But you guys said voltage.
I said voltage.
Voltage isn't it?
Yeah, it's current.
It's current.
Yep. Damn. Why do we need to know this? Like, what's this useful for? There we go. That's how I found the requirement there, Ted. So dumb.
So, for those that are studying their technician's test, electric current is the flow of electric charge. In most circuits, this is the flow of electrons, and that flow is called current, and it is measured in amps. Voltage is the electrical pressure that pushes the charges, and resistance opposes the flow. So, it's kind of nice. We got like back-to-back questions that were almost identical.
Pretty much, exactly, yeah. Just
phrased different.
Thank you, Ted. Please rate my, performance on a 1 to 5, 5 being worse, 1 being great. Leave that in the chat. Wow, dude, that's a little walk down memory lane there for sure. And I love the fact that, we kept in the same area, like in the electronics section, which Todd hates. All right, well, hey. If you've been studying for you've been studying for your technician license, well, hamstudy.org is an awesome resource. It helps everybody prepare for your test and helps us, channel our inner Todd. So with that, if you've been studying for your test or your technician general or extra class, well, then hamstudy.org is an excellent resource for getting that ticket. And if you've recently, got upgraded, please let us know. We want to celebrate with you. We want to recognize you. We want to honor you. So definitely throw us a shout out there, and we will make sure we bring it up on the next episode. All right. With that, we are flying. Is this a good enough pace for you, my friend? Oh, do we have anybody?
Well, so I just wanted to look real quick and see if. All right, so we get names. We don't have call signs, but I recently took part in the Clubhouse test session. I believe it was last Monday, and both Dwayne and Mike got their upgrades. One upgraded to general, one upgraded to extra.
Wow, nice. Good for them, guys. Well, hopefully we can get those call signs and give them a shout out. But congratulations, guys. Appreciate, you definitely did a lot of hard work to get where you're at. You said one extra, one general?
Yep.
Sweet.
One of them's going to have a lot more fun, and the other one don't have to worry about testing anymore.
Well, that is pretty much, yeah, exactly. Good point. I was like, wait a minute, you don't have to have more fun and extra, and then you said, oh, yeah. Totally. I'm on the same boat as you, man. We're finally traveling in the right direction. All right. Well, with that, let's get into our ham radio week catch up. So we always just love to, find out what's going on in our lives, whether you've been doing some ham radio or ham radio adjacent stuff. So we're going to pass it over to our guests this evening. Joe, how has your ham radio or non-ham radio week been? What's been going on?
Well, I've done more radio than I've done in months the last few days. Yeah. Yeah, so this weekend, my wife's got me out here with both 3D printers running. So while I'm babysitting the 3D printers, I might as well turn on the radio. So,
okay. Might as well,
yeah. They haven't been turned on in quite some time, and that's shameful. But we go through the flows and currents of life. Sometimes the recliner introduces some resistance to walking out to the shack. And anyway, it's been fun. I've picked up some photo contacts.
You've got perfect content here.
Yeah, because the wife is supplying the voltage.
Yeah.
To push you.
And these are these little.
And your stubbornness is the resistance.
I'm printing out these little chickens for her, man.
Are those like more of the squishy filament, the rubbery filament?
No. This is PLA, some's G, but these particular. This is the hen on the nest. Right, you can't really see it too good.
Yeah,
not bad.
That's exactly what I said it was.
It's cut in half, and you put magnets on the back of it, and it becomes a fridge magnet. So,
is this our thing now? Refrigerator magnets? Interesting.
Yeah. So, well, we got us a little side gig, and got a retail space at a consignment place, and
cool.
So we're finding products to put out.
No ham radio, kind of line of products at all there for her little booth.
I've been thinking about that a little bit because all the times I go to these thrift stores and these consignment stores, like there's a huge lack of any type of two-way radio stuff. Usually you can find some old radios you had on your shelf or something, but back in the day. But when it comes to two-way. So I may have to change the trend.
Dude, sounds like you got a perfect opportunity there.
I might have a few radios laying in the corner that make some kind of display out of.
I'm very impressed that Mama Noel has got you working hard with the 3D printers, and you're pumping these things out by the 4 or 5 at a time, I'm sure. But very cool, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, we bought us a laser and the hat.
Did Shane force your hand or encourage your hand to go press the pay now button?
He influenced the model that I purchased. And
okay.
He recommended the X tool. Man, go with the X tool because he got his off Kickstarter. The brand Longer is the brand name of his. And I was really digging his. He's got the camera inside of it. It's dual laser, so it's got the IR in it, not just the diode. So it can do some metal work and stuff. But it's got the AI stuff in it, where he can put multiple little products in there.
Yep.
But he's like, oh man, X-Tool. And X-Tool is kind of like DJI of their market, right? They're the top of the market. And yeah, my software that come with it makes my life easier on a lot of things that his does. But his does stuff that I'm like, dude, I can't do 5 or 6 products at a time. You can, but so anyway, I always tell him
it's not a pissing contest.
Yeah.
See, so now Joe, he's currently making our little hammy discs for us here because my, person I had up here, maybe we could talk offline. If you're looking for kind of an opportunity, it can, pit you guys against each other and we'll see who comes out on top.
There you go. And that's the thing. That's what I was talking about. We commonly message back and forth our projects and stuff that we're doing. And he showed me those little tokens, and he's like, man, it's not, too bad. I can do 5 or 6 at a time. And I'm like, yeah, I could, but I have to get a lot more creative because mine doesn't do it automatically.
Yeah. Curious, I'm always curious because I finally plunked down the cash to get into the 3D printing world. So the space that's kind of over here is going to be set up for said printer because my daughter's like, Dad, how come you don't have a 3D printer? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I really want to start printing these things. And I was like, okay, well, what do we want to get? And then, you know how that whole snowball kind of effect works. And so got a P2S on order, which probably won't be here for another month because they're so backlogged. But yeah.
I want to know how long she sat there and thought about that before she approached you. Why don't you have a 3D printer?
Paul's met her. Paul knows that she is very much, cut from the same cloth as me. So we don't need much of she doesn't have to sales pitch me. She doesn't have to do a, sales deck or anything. It's like, hey, I like this idea. And I'm like, okay, let's go do it. And vice versa. So, so that works, man.
That works. Yeah.
It's a rabbit hole hobby for sure. That's what I'm learning.
I'm waiting for one more daughter to get hitched, and then we're going to make the girls' bedroom.
Your print farm?
It's going to be an office space. So.
Yeah. We've got 14 printers going 24/7, and we've got each corner of the room's got 20 amp circuit dedicated.
Yeah. Right now, the laser's on the kitchen table because I don't have any more room without really messing the disorganization up in the shack.
Yes. We all saw that episode, Joe. We know what it's like.
Yep. It's time for more episodes, I can tell you that.
Oh, we on this old shack with Joe Brett.
Yeah. Welcome back. What the heck?
We're just going to set it on fire, burn it down, and start fresh.
Yeah.
Well, very cool, sir. Sounds like some good stuff there. Radio playing wise, just listening to radio, or are you making,
I'm sorry, we're talking about radios.
Dude, totally fine.
Yeah. No, actually, I've been trying to spur some of the locals back up on 5.2. We used to have a good local group, 6 to 8 people every night on 146.52, and that's just kind of going to the wayside. Everybody's got different things to do, and it's been pretty quiet. So, I actually got me a local on 5.2 last night. Throw my call out, so that worked. And I'm staring at my 705 now because when you turn off the 705, it gives you the option if you want to power it off or power it off for remote control, so you can connect to it later. And this is the second time it's happened. It gets stuck on that screen, and I have to pull the power cables, the USB, and the battery to make the darn thing go off. But
I can't sympathize. I'm not an ICOM fanboy, so Paul, this is your county. This is your turf.
I got
sounds like a problem that Ray could help you solve.
Yeah.
Always go to Ray. Ray's the big daddy. He can solve everybody's problems. Nobody in the ICOM world can solve their own issues. They got to go to Ray.
Something cool about Ray. He lives 20 minutes from it. So
wow.
Hey, man, come over to the shack. Help me out with this.
Where's Ray on his traveling ham fest circuit right now? See if we can break to go to Joe Brett's house.
Right. Yeah, always going somewhere. But according to his Facebook, I think he's enjoying the game tonight. So.
Oh, is he? I
don't know if he's enjoying it from the house, but.
Well, I have, like Paul, I am not on the book of faces, so
yeah.
I can only guess.
But I've got ICOM. ICOM fills the shack, but Yazoo fills the mobile.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're always, Yazoo is always on the move. ICOM, they're your comfy blanket. They're always around. That blanket can have holes in it. It can live, barely power on. Gets locked up from time to time. But heck, it works.
Just got to reset it. Pull the power. Yeah,
for sure.
But the Yazoos, they had what I wanted in a mobile, so I had to go with when the 500 come out and had the real APRS in it that I wanted to dabble in.
Still not real, but yeah.
And well, at least it's actually RF, and other radios can pick it up. And
true. It's the trade-off.
But the front firing speaker out of the 500 head is what sold me. So I was at Dayton a couple years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago was my first time at Dayton. I was there for 1 day, so everything was a big rush. And I was going to get a 500. Went over to everybody was out. DX Engineering was there, right? Yeah, because they're in Ohio, I believe, or got a place there. So yeah, they sold it to me, but didn't have it on hand. They'd have it first thing in the morning. Okay, so I gave them all that cash, and then I get there in the morning, and I hand them my receipt, and they're walking back and forth, and Noelle looks at me and she's like, I'm gonna go stand over here, because she knew, like I knew, why they kept walking back and forth, because they can't find it. And then I see them all huddled together, and she's across the booth looking at me like, be nice. And I'm like, I'm good. Everything's fine. Finally, this nice young lady comes walking over with my receipt, and she's, bless her heart, she's got a little quiver in her lip. I noticed the little quiver. So I knew she was preparing for me to blow my top, right? She's like, I'm sorry, but we thought we had 500s on the truck coming this morning, but they were all 300s. I can sell you a 300 if you want it. And I'm like, no, there's a reason I bought the 500. If I wanted 300, I'd have got that one yesterday. Or way before I come to the show. But anyway, but I'm like, it's okay. Don't sweat. Calm down. You're fine. You're going to ship it to me, right? She's like, yeah, we'll ship it to you. I said, okay. But I can refund your money if you, I said, no, because you refund my money, then I'm going to lose the show price and I'm going to have to wait even longer to order it and have it sent to me. So just go ahead, hit the ship button. She's like, we'll include a gift card for your troubles and inconvenience. So I said, okay.
Wow. Gift
card come in. I think it was like, I don't know if it was $10 or $25 or something.
Of course, yeah.
But it was a nice gesture. But that was my experience getting that.
Well, I'm so glad you weren't a...
Thing out of the way. I'm a sad ham. I said it.
Because that would just totally tarnish the Joe Brett image, you know?
Right, yeah.
Calm, cool, and collective.
Threw her for a loop because I was not the typical ham that was going to turn the tables over. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, brand new radio, you want to have it. I mean, like when that 1F came out, like how many people were undercutting other people and like all of a sudden skipping lines, and you know there was the 1F gate of 2025 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I stayed far away from that booth.
Yeah, that radio altogether. Cool. All right. Well, we got more to come with Joe Brett here, so we're gonna pass it over to our lovely, illustrious N1OG. How's your ham radio week, bud?
You know what? I went and I played POTA this week.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yesterday, finally got to cross Dade Battlefield off my list of to do. And I met up with Julian Vaughn, and we used the Reliance end-fed half-wave. And dude, I gotta say, I mean, my throw was not great. The bag went up and over the branch, and then came back around and looped over the wire a couple times.
Oh.
So it was a little bit of a headache, kind of getting it untwisted, but. It got it up in a nice sloper configuration. Julie said, what band do you want? I said, I always start on 10 and I work my way down. And so we started on 10 and 10 was just gangbusters. It was so cool. I got 3 contacts in Australia, got a guy in Alaska, Brazil, a couple Puerto Rican stations. All over the U.S., everything from Washington, Oregon, Southern California. Tortoise. It was like he was sitting next to me. The way that he was coming in from Massachusetts. I mean, just 10 meters was just awesome yesterday,
dude.
And so after we played radio, we went and we got some Mexican, and that was good too. It's good food, good people.
Hard to go wrong with that,
right? And now I'm getting ready for Hamcation next weekend. I've already been forewarned that apparently when Dave K5YVY arrives on Tuesday, there's a party in Ocala, and so I might twist my arm and go see what's going on, but. Yeah, definitely looking forward anyways to, Hamcation, and, it'll be my first time actually going in person. I did the virtual in 21. But yeah, it'll be cool.
Dude,
what about you, Eric?
Okay. That virtual, I forgot all about
you
that.
just can't, we gotta have a little banter here, my friend. You just can't just like, okay, go to Eric.
So I can say I've been to Hamvention, right? Or Hamcation.
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 Hamcation in Orlando.
I walked around virtually.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't even have to wear a mask that year. It was great.
What was your avatar looking like? Was it the actual Grouch or was it something else?
No, that was pre Grouch. That was Kilo Fishing for Therapy time. So
wow. Okay. Nice. I didn't know you did that. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, two issues. Well, not two issues. First and foremost, Dade Battlefield. You finally did it. Was that the same one that you were supposed to do with Julian Vaughn, but they were doing the reenactment?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Did you also do a little reenactment while you were activating as well?
They're doing they do a whole bunch of stuff at the parks here. Like there's all kinds of reenactments and things that go on like almost every weekend at a different park. Wow. But they had a visitor center with like this cool little museum inside it. So I took a bunch of like B-roll footage for of the museum. But I had incorrectly assumed that it was a Civil War battlefield, and it was like 1812. The U.S. versus the Seminole Indians.
Yeah, that
the Seminole Indians kicked the living shit out of them.
It was their home turf, man. I'm sure they would have.
Yeah.
They were probably still using the old British ways of running a battle. And they were like, why are they not standing with us? But cool. Dude, that's awesome. Okay. And I have to remind you, because I have to be a good friend in this process. I know you went to Huntsville, and the first thing on your mind was like, oh, go to the Hamfest because that's got to be the thing. Do not do this with Hamcation. Hamcation's great and everything. Walk through that thing like lightning. Go party. Please. Do it for me, if anything.
Yeah, no, I will 100% remember the camera.
Good.
I figure I'll put the GoPro on the chest mount, and then I'll have the Pocket 2 for walking around and filming different things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean, I got to take it seriously this time. I got media credentials.
Well, now you definitely have upped your game.
Obligations. Yeah.
You have an obligation to us that support your channel. So, like, if I don't see anything like up to the minute, like, or at least when 6 hours minimum, I think is the window from the point of Hamcation opening up to when the first video is released, kind of thing. Then I might have to like pull my my funding.
All right, I will make sure the Hamcation video goes to the top of the freaking to-do pile.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are going to be doing the Weekend Warriors podcast live stream Friday night from Dave's trailer. So it may be one of those where it's a complete shit show, and I'm already half in the wrapper by the time the podcast comes around. Who knows?
Dude, I'll tune in for that one. That's on my calendar, so I'm going to be watching just for the pure entertainment value. Like, content, great, but sometimes you get too deep, and I'm just like, all right, if this is going to be a shit show, I'm all for it. So I'm tuning in.
Well, don't worry, because in 2 weeks we come back to the deep stuff, and we're gonna be talking about my 3 R's for survival. And so, yeah, don't worry. We'll get back into the deep stuff.
Very cool, man. Awesome. It's always good stuff. It's funny because like people ask me, it's like, dude, I know you like watch Paul's like, Weekend Warriors. Like, you military? I'm like, no, I'm not military at all. Like my dad's military. Like, that's about the closest I can come to. I'm like, I don't know half the stuff that they talk about when they get into 3-letter acronyms or talking about military life or whatever, but it's just fun to hear and watch and, just see all that side of the, the world that I don't get to see and, get sheltered from. So, if anything, I walk away from it going, man, I get it now. Sort of. Maybe.
And I mean, honestly, that's the hope. It's not specifically for military and veterans only. I mean, we try and make sure that like anybody that wants to know about what we're going through and what we're dealing with, like just kind of putting it out there in an open forum. It's our group
stuff.
Therapy on the interwebs.
That's what it is. Good stuff, bud. Keep it up. So awesome. Well, now I'll go back to your original, handoff. My ham
How about
radio
you?
week, I don't know, man. I am not, feeling ham radio-ish. This last week I was away for 2 days. For those and our members, the group for my channel, you got to see me after 25 years get my feet strapped to a snowboard. My son wanted to go snowboarding, and my brother-in-law has a place up in Loon, and I said fine. After like 3 years of them badgering me over and over again, you got to come up, you got to come up, you got to come up, and my son, he's been
because if Todd can do it, you can do it.
That was never my problem, dude. I was never like I couldn't get on a board and try it. Like I was just like I sit at a computer desk for like 8 to 10 hours, so like I'm like this all the time. I'm not vertical. Those muscles are gonna get like total powder burns and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, we did 2 days of skiing. First day was at Loon. I prepared. I did all of the things I needed to. I think overall, I did okay, as long as I didn't push myself, because I'm now 51, and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be like I was when I was 25. It's like, I don't have any. All I have is caffeine flowing through my system. I haven't drank any water. Screw that. I'm just going to go for the next 5 runs. After I started to feel it, I was like, all right, I'm going to go down to the bar. I'm going to hang out there, have a little liquid courage, and then get back out on the slopes kind of thing. So, it worked out good. I was happy. My son was like quite impressed. So, if anything, this kudos, bonus points for that. And, you can always check out my channel.
You can't still run on caffeine, nicotine, and gasoline?
Oh, God, no. Hell no. None of that at all. Like, I was very, cautious to even have 1 cup of coffee that first morning, because I was like, dude, what is this going to do to me? Because I can't really carry a whole lot of water with me when I'm on the slopes. And, of course, I'm going with 2 people that are pretty, avid, snowboarders and skiers. So, they're like, well, we can do the, intermediate trails for, a couple of runs, but we want to go higher. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Be nice to me, please. I don't deserve this. And so, yeah, there was a couple of moments there that I'll share some other time. Now is not it until I get the videos, out there. Because I keep getting more requests on the channel going, we want to see that video. If there's no proof, then you didn't do it. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to play a whole lot of radio, although today was kind of an interesting scenario. I was sitting in the parking lot waiting for the wife to come out of the supermarket, and Ham Alert went off, and Mike was doing 10 meter AM. I was like, oh, dude, awesome. All right, I'll work him on 10 meter AM. I spun the dial, set it all up, tuned it. Tuning was really weird. I don't understand how it tuned. Couldn't hear him for the lick of me. And I was like, oh, man, that would have been really cool. Been my first AM contact. This is awesome. And then I got home, and I was unpacking the truck, and I realized that the ATAS that I have was sitting on the back seat. So I have no idea what the hell I was tuning up. I don't know what came back, but it probably at this point, the little cap on the end. I mean, it must have been, just enough resistance to make this thing work. I was just like, oh man, that is just so amateurish hour. It's like, I should just look behind me, because I knew I took it off the night before because we had a winter storm roll through, and I don't like getting it beat up when I'm kind of cleaning snow off. So yeah, that was an amateur hour for sure. But none of you guys do any of that. I hear from Shannon every Friday about some certain batteries dying, and
I'll never live that down. But the thing is I completed the activation. I made it work.
Mm-hmm. She does say that at the very end after she's done really driving it home. But yeah, it's all good. Well, so yeah, that's enough for me in terms of what's going on. But yeah, we got Joe Brett on tonight. I'm super stoked that he finally had a spot in his schedule to come hang out with us, because I know he's a busy guy and got a lot going on. But he's kind of like the last of the trifecta, or more than a trifecta, quadfecta, I guess. 4 people. So we've had obviously Izzo on, we've had Shane on, we've had Steve on, Beer Smack, and Molson declined interviews, so it left us with you, Joe. Not that you're the last one, but I'm sure everybody knows the Joe Brett. He's always the quiet guy on Ham Radio Clubhouse, but we know he's not quiet in the sense that he's just quiet. He's doing other shit in the background. We heard what all that is.
we saved the best for last.
That's exactly it, my friend. You couldn't have said it any better. So Joe Brett, you know, the man with the voice.
Playing Red Rover too. Best class, man.
Yeah, that is true. Or British Bulldog, depending on, you know, what side of the fence you're on. You know, my first introduction to Joe Brett, I have to say, was, you know, when I was on the Clubhouse and he dragged out the infamous Hunt for Ham Radio YouTubers link that he found randomly, which I don't know how he pulled that one out of thin air. But you know, so that started our introduction and kind of just our lead into the Clubhouse. But you know, most people may or may not know the Joe Brett that we all know in some form or fashion. So, you know, kind of tell us a little bit about, you know, Joe Brett and ham radio and kind of how you started. And then, you know, we're always interested. We'll dive into a little bit of Clubhouse or figure out where it goes from there.
Man, well, so my how do I say this? You get to edit this, right? So all the blabbing.
No. Paul, do I edit? No.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm one of those, I kind of got a typical story like I've heard from a lot of people, at least down around these parts of the woods anyway. My dad was 11 meters growing up. There was CB in the house all the time. There was a scanner in the house all the time. And I came interested at some point in my life. I got infatuated with severe weather. And, well, actually, I know when that was. Is when I experienced and witnessed my first tornado that tore up our little community. And I remember saying something, I don't know, getting interested in the weather spotting. I started, somehow I locked in on, there's people out there that does weather spotting, Skywarn and stuff. Mm-hmm. Probably from listening to the scanner. But my grandpa, actually, when he was still living during that time, he actually had, I don't know if it's from the 70s or what. I wish I could find it. He had a weather spotting book from the National Weather Service. It had that baby blue cover on it, like they printed all that stuff back then with the yellow pages that used to be white. Mm-hmm. And I just dove right into it and got all infatuated. Well, then I started, how do you do this? And anyway, it just led me to a local club that kind of took me under the wing.
Oh, cool.
Took tests with them. Got my tech and started doing some weather spotting and stuff. But as a nerd that I am, naturally, as I was studying, I was like, "Oh, you can do this with radio too? Or, oh, you can do that? Okay, that'd be kind of cool to try." But so I was a mobile tech, I guess, because I didn't have a base station for a long time, but kept my technician license for 10 years. And it come up time to renew. Just so happened I made friends with another local a couple miles up the road. He's telling me about all these contacts he's making in Brazil and other points of South America and these places. He's like, I was like, how you doing that? Like, HF radio, man. Well, I don't know what HF radio is. Nobody's ever talked to me about that, right?
Oh my! Wow.
And I don't really remember a lot about that in the tech test either. But so anyway, I stopped by his shop one day and he shows me about it and talking about the contacts. He's out there making contacts. He lets me sit down and use his call sign and make a contact. And I forget where it was at.
There we go.
Yeah, South America, and that was it. I was hooked. And I went and found my first HF radio from, I guess I could still say a local guy, county over, Kenwood TS 440 with a tuner in it.
That's good rig.
It's still sitting over there. I need to get it back out every now and then.
Sure.
But I realized, yeah, when I hook that thing back up and do use it, it's nice. And Kenwoods are just known for having great audio anyway. But I realize how spoiled I am with the modern radios having the band scope on them. I'm just sitting there looking at digits, and I'm like, damn, I got to actually find people again instead of just seeing where they're at.
Didn't you spin the dial as a teenager driving around in the car every week when you were looking for that radio station to play your song?
No, I just flipped the cassette over,
okay. So cassette guy, got it. Okay, yeah. Bummer.
I was the guy with the CD Walkman with the cassette adapter.
Oh no, we saw your lowrider there, so we know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So So yeah, 10 years as a tech, and then when time to renew, I went ahead and took the general, knocked it out.
Is that when you were K5YVY, or you were before that?
That was Kilo Delta 5 YVY.
Oh,
yeah,
man, doesn't kind of roll off the lips the same way.
Yeah, just had that D in it, but
yes, it did.
I had to get that D out, and didn't have no use for that. So when I got my general, and I was I was going to do my vanity call sign, right? This is the next step in my adventure. And I had my little list of trying to come up with something that was relatable, to me. And of course, I'm not a very creative person off the top of my head. So that was all it took. And my last choice was K5YVY, just dropping the D, And,
you should always end with that. You should always end with that. Just dropping the D.
Just dropping the D. But
Joe Brett's got enough D. He didn't need it in his call sign.
I didn't need it in his call sign. Yes.
True. Just adds that little what did I just hear? Wait a minute. Wow. Interesting, man.
And it don't seem like I had general too long. I don't know if I had it maybe a year or two, if even that, before I went to extra. And the whole reason I went to extra is because I got what I call interested in casually contesting, which just means I'm going to come and go to the radio as I please. And instead of spending the whole 23 hours or whatever they allow you in the contest. So I just call it casual contesting. But after about the third contact that was inside the extra portion of the band, I said, I know how to fix this. So within a week, I memorized all the questions to it and took the test and got that. So
spoken like a true champ. I mean, it's pretty much everybody who goes to extra is like, I'm gonna get it done. Just get it off the way. Yeah. Wow.
And it happens to be because you're making contacts in the extra portion, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened to me. I made 3 contacts in the extra portion, and I got emails about it, and I was like, "Fuck! I'm just gonna get it done."
Yeah. Well, I didn't get any emails about it, but now I did get one of those OO cards one time in my tech career, and I wish I would have kept that. I think I just kind of laughed about it, got mad about it, and then threw it away. But, now I'm like, man, I wish I would have kept that. So I don't know, like,
framed.
I don't know if you can even get on the air and get a OO card anymore these days.
No, it's all electronic now, and they issue like a letter. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
so, wow. Okay. So a lot to unpack there, my friend. So CB scanner stuff. So like, were you super active on the CB stuff, or were you just kind of just, it's always in the background kind of thing and just absorbed it?
Early in the background, I never had a CB in my vehicle when I started driving. I didn't mess with it. The only time I messed with my dad's CB that he had in the house, he had a 60-foot tower, big old beam on it, He was talking to people all over the world. Well, not in the world, all over the country anyway. And I remember particularly one time stuck in my head. I remember him talking to a guy that was in Maine. And so that kind of stuck in my head. But where that circled back around my head is when I'm digging into one day rules and regulations. Some conversation come up about rules and regulations, right? And I ended up on 11 meter. I'm like, oh, 11 meter actually has rules? Okay.
Yeah, true.
So after I read through those, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I had to go to my dad. And I'm like, hey, did you know you was illegally operating your CB radio back then? Like,
it's cool. Over there, son.
You're not supposed to talk. You wasn't supposed to talk to that guy in Maine. He was too far away. So it's just crazy, the rules they had for that. But,
CB is one of those things. I was mostly FM kind of thing and introduced during trucker world, and we went down to Georgia with the family in the minivan, and Dad bought the CB kind of thing. So we learned all of the great F words and how to pick up the right ladies at certain bars and other establishments off of the highway, and
Candy cane,
pretty much.
Ask me how I found out about my first fox hunting activity.
Oh, well, you're going to have to tell that story.
Well, you wouldn't called fox hunting in this guy's world, but I learned,
here we go.
I learned the hard way. So I had a cousin come over. You know how you used to have your cousins over at night and stuff, and play the video games and everything. Well, I don't know. It was like after midnight, and we're going to the kitchen to get something to drink, some snacks. And hey, he says, "Is that a CB?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And he goes over and turns it on, and lo and behold, we find somebody on there, and he starts talking smack. Well, I'm like, "That's kind of funny." So I start talking smack. Well, this guy's like, he's really not enjoying the conversation he's having with us, and he's threatening to come see us. And we're like, "Come on, whatever. Nobody can't. You don't know where I'm at." He says, "Watch the needle on the meter. You'll see I'm getting closer." And he keeps us talking, right? To eventually the needle's pegging out, and I've got a can of my mom's hairspray. He's got a kitchen knife, and we're hunkered down by the back door, waiting for this guy to bust in the door. And yeah, so I never really played with my dad's CV, especially after that. But I got one more story to go with that. A little bit later in life, when I'm out driving, hanging out in town as a teenager, for some reason, I guess I didn't remember this tragic part of my life or traumatic part of my life here. And a buddy was pulled up in the parking lot, and he was talking on the CB, having a nice conversation with somebody. And I take the mic, and I'm like, "Let me speak to him." And I start talking smack.
Bad-mouthing him. Yeah.
And he's sitting there going, "No, stop." And I'm like, "Hey, he don't know. We're in town with like hundreds of people. He don't know we're here." And my buddy's just kind of like, "Let me leave." Well, the guy on the other end of the mic, he says, "Look in front of the store, big boy." And this guy's in a big purple 18-wheeler. I don't know what Freightliner or what it was, but he says, "You better be ready, because I'm coming once I get to the end of this parking lot." And he backs up to the curb as far as he can to the other side of the parking lot. And I remember the black smoke coming out of the stacks of the 18-wheeler, and he floors that thing coming straight at us. And just barely missed. He was messing with us too, right? But he scared the hell out of me. And from that point forward, I gave up any CB interest. So I decided I should go into two-way communications with heavily regulated rules.
Apparently you don't frequent 80 meters much, Joe.
No. See, this is my antenna on 80 meters only tunes to the digital and CW portion. So it keeps me out of the voice part.
Dude, 7200 is my favorite frequency.
Oh, dude. Funny thing is with that whole scenario, every time he decides to let's fire up 7.200 in the overall, we're up at say Nearfest or whatever, it's always like you tune into the live stream. Yep, Paul's gonna fire up 7.200. Let's see what happens, and it bums out because it's like they get scared of Paul for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's just like doesn't escalate to any level that we were hoping for. Yet. I mean,
they all move off.
They do. They do.
Oh, he smells like us. There ain't nothing.
He's got gasoline in his veins. I ain't messing with him. So, wow.
He got a shimmer in his voice. I'm going to leave that one alone.
In his beard, too. All right. Well, you talked about tornadoes. What was it? So you were a ham at that point, or no?
No, not the first tornado I got to lay eyes on. I was not.
Wow. What was that? Was that like kind of just the impetus to get you into storm spotting, or did you get it in there at all?
It's and it's weird to say, but like that night of experiencing that tornado was almost exactly like the original movie Twisters, where they're kind of looking at the sky. I mean, it's weird. It's
Which one? The first one or the last
first one? Yeah, the original.
Okay,
yeah.
Dude,
original.
Helen Hunt? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You are right there. You want some time alone there, Paul?
I'll be back. I need to go get some Kleenex.
Yeah, I remember just looking at the sky that night. Like we were at a church function, lock-in at a place a couple counties away, and it was weird because everybody quit playing little sports and roller skating and this and that every 10, 15 minutes, it seemed like there was 10 or 15 more people gathered around the TV with the weatherman showing tornado warnings all around us.
Wow.
So the church group makes the decision to take us back home. And it's like, we're going to travel on that? But so we did. And then we get back to the church, to the little P fellowship building, whatever they call it. And, back then there's no cell phones. So we're all standing in a line 15 deep, waiting our turn to use the wall phone. And so finally it's my turn. I call my parents. I'm like, hey, I'm not having fun anymore. You were already on our way. It's okay. We're leaving.
Wow.
We're just standing out there watching the lightning. There's lightning acts real. I mean, it gets really active. And when a tornado's coming, and just watching that, and then getting to the storm shelter and hearing that thing come over you, seeing what it does afterwards. And I was just kind of hooked.
Interesting. So did they go ahead, Paul.
Did you start storm chasing after that? Chasing tornadoes?
Yeah. I mean, after I started driving, when I got old enough to drive and probably closer to 17 or 18 before I actually started going out.
With a Dodge Ram, because those are the only trucks that can go up in the tornado, and it doesn't matter.
No, they should have had me in the movie, because you know how Reed Timmer and then Sean's got the tornado vehicles that lower down to the ground.
Yeah, anchor with like big giant pistons in the ground.
Truck, remember the truck you just mentioned that I had back then? Mm-hmm. No doubt, I was a low rider, mini trucking storm chaser. And when the wind started picking up, I let the air out of the airbags, and the frame of the truck sit on the ground, and it didn't rock no more, and I was ready to go, man.
Wow.
The wind couldn't get up under my truck. So.
Dude, that truck was so light anyway. Like, what would it matter of getting the wind underneath it? It'd be like, hey, pickup truck, let's just move you.
Yeah, let's get out of my way. Yeah.
Wow. So did you just do this on your own, or did you do it with a group of guys you just found? Or I'm always curious on that.
I started for the longest. It was just by myself. Well, then as a nerd and ADHD and everything, I had a lot of hobbies I was interested in, and it just kept growing. And so eventually I got into photography. Bought me a good DSLR camera, and quickly learned that was the cheapest part of that hobby. That the lenses is what really cost. But so I got into taking photographs of lightning and storms and stuff. So I would just go out, get close enough to a storm where I wasn't maybe getting soaked in rain, and I could set the camera up and hunker down in the fetal position, hoping that would keep the lightning from striking me, and take pictures. And it was pretty cool.
Wow.
And then I discovered that they make remotes for the cameras. So then I would sit inside the truck and use the remote. But it was pretty good. So after I started taking photographs, I'm like, man, I need a place to show my photographs off. So naturally at that time, I made a Facebook page just to put my pictures on. And I called it North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters, because Twister had just came out and it was still fresh. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, nobody's going to know what a storm spotter is. So I had to add the word chasers to it. And man, it just naturally the algorithm just, people was looking for storm chasing and stuff, and started bringing a lot of people to my pictures. Well, then I got to where I was trying to actually post storm information and, upcoming storm events. And I noticed this guy, he lives quite a bit south of me, but he had his own personal page, and he was rocking out weather updates just all the time. So I ended up sending him a message. I said, hey, man, I got this page. It's got a title. It's got a little bit of a following to it. Would you like to become part of this page and post all that information? You do a fabulous job. And anyway, he did. Well, that little group has now grown to be probably around 30 members, plus or minus. all trained adults, and they just recently become a 501(c), the nonprofit. They've started a Skycam network that honestly, I told the guy when he brought the idea up a few years ago, I completely backed out of the conversation, didn't even give my opinion, because I was like, he wanted to put a camera on every cell phone tower in the state, and to get a sky view of, you know, where the chasers couldn't make it, because even if everybody's out, you still got a lot of ground, especially in Mississippi with the hills and trees that you can't see. And I was like, no, that's never going to go anywhere. That's a way too big of a project.
Stretch.
You know? Yeah. Well, lo and behold, he's got over 20 cameras up across the state now.
Wow.
With under the nonprofit name, and they're just rocking and rolling, doing pretty good. I quietly kind of stepped out of it about the time that I started setting them up with like a media broker and stuff to try to start getting a little bit of income and everything. I was just starting to concentrate on my ham radio YouTube channel, and I was really wanting to put energy into that. I kind of gotten out of storm chasing because it cost a lot of money in gas, and it was just getting more expensive. And people that wanted to ride with you, I had one person buy me a bag of Cheetos and a Mountain Dew. Nobody ever put in gas money. So, see, I just quietly, I told one guy that I kind of trusted in the group. I was like, hey, I'm not going to be very active. Here's the account to the financials. I'm still going to be in the background, but I'm kind of stepping out. So they've done good with it. So there's the fire hose rundown of,
well, dude, there's still a lot more to unpack. I'm sorry, Joe. You know, I feel like a therapist. Now on today's session.
Yeah.
Wow. So what, like, obviously you did you just naturally go, like, so for me, it's, I'll have to frame it this way. Like, I didn't go, hey, I got my license, I'm getting back in the hobby, let's just do a YouTube channel. Like, what, was it just natural for you to just like want to go to do a YouTube channel? Or were you just doing stuff for your buddies, or?
Just another good story. So let me refill the water tank for the hose here.
Go right ahead, sir.
Actually, I had been doing some live streaming long before I realized or remembered that I was doing some live streaming. I went back on my channel and looked, and I was like, oh, wow, I was really trying that way back then. And that all started with, I had a really crappy, bought off eBay, refurbished Dell Optiplex. You know, it was an office computer at some point in its life, and it was really built to just do emails. And I wonder how far I could push it. I had really crappy internet. I had the cable internet from the cable company that had okay speeds, download, but upload was like, what, 2 or 3. And then it, you know, 20 times a day it quit working. But anyway, I started just kind of playing around, really not realizing that anybody else would ever see it. I had come across some people while I was making contacts on HF that would either be recording the QSOs where you could go to the QRZ page, type in your call sign and listen to the recording, or a time or two I'd run across somebody that was doing it on YouTube, and you could go over there and listen to it. And I was fascinated by how I sounded on the other side. And I'm like, I wonder if I could provide that for other people. And that's kind of where I started diving into the live streaming stuff. And, and it was really horrible because it was buffering, skipping. It was like a 320p, 320p webcam, you know. And then 100 watts in a wire. You heard of that podcast? So yeah, with Kristen, at the time he was in Missouri. I think he lives in Florida now. But I kind of tuned into 100 watts in a wire, and they had started doing a YouTube show. And every Saturday morning, an hour before the live show started, he would have like a meet and greet thing. He'd have people come on for about 5 minutes and then move on to another person, let them come on. And I got to doing that pretty regular, and it was fun just coming on, saying hi to the folks, and then moving on. Well, I was out here one day doing something on one computer screen, and I had Jason 2.0 up on the other. And I wasn't watching his stream. I was just listening to it while I was doing whatever I was doing on others. And I heard him say, if I didn't hear anything else, I heard him say, if you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email and we'll get you on the show. And I'm like, oh, cool, another meet and greet. So I sent him an email. His reply to me was, what's your YouTube channel? And I'm like, what does that matter? Kristen with 100 Watts and Wire didn't care if you had a channel or not, but I was like, I got one, so here it is for whatever you want that for. And he's like, okay, I'll shoot you the link, the next live stream. I think he did it once a month or whatever he done it then. Mm-hmm. So the show finally comes around. I log in, and we're sitting there before the show goes live. You got all the squares, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, there's Adam and Mike and Josh, and I'm like, there's some big ham radio YouTubers in here. And then I look at the title of the video was ham. What do you call it? The YouTubers Happy Hour Bunch. Yeah, YouTubers Bunch. And I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. Right? But then the show starts about the time I have that thought. And I'm like, all right, we're going to wing it. We're going to wing it. So it finally comes around to me. He's like, just tell us a little bit about your channel and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, I do some live streaming and this and that. And like that night, I got a little over 200 new subscribers from that show. And I was like, okay, well, I'm obligated now, right? So I invested in some better equipment and ended up building the computer to handle the stuff. Got the fiber internet, kicked the cable internet away. And now I don't do anything. So,
dude, while you were all telling that story, I was just flipping through your YouTube page. Your oldest video is like 12 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, wow. And then there's some of them I think I didn't unlist any of the actual ham radio stuff, but there's some stuff on there that's not ham radio stuff that maybe I had a sponsorship when I was doing the weather stuff. I had a sponsorship through Midland, and wow. Midland at the time, I don't think they do it anymore, but Midland had these what they called a sports camera, which was nothing more than GoPro in a different shape. So it was their own version of a GoPro, and they had sent me one of those cameras, and they did like monthly contests and stuff, and it didn't matter what the video content was about. They just wanted video content that was made with their cameras, and you shared that with them, and each one was a chance. So like I gave them like 40 something videos one month and won me another camera. So now I got 2 cameras. But so yeah, I unlisted a bunch of those because they didn't have nothing to do with the ham radio.
But that's. You're live, like you for a long time. You were just doing like live radio station. Looks like you were kind of, I don't know what tool you were using. Looking at some of the videos here, it looks like is that no, that's not N1MM. No, that's ham radio log. Or
No. So just regular radio, just making regular contacts. I use log 4OM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then for the radio control, cat control is that Win 4 icon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I was looking at
but
like
now,
ham radio log.
Yeah. Now, some of the videos where I may be doing a contest, then instead of log 4OM, it's N1MM.
Dude, yeah, you create. Wow. Holy crap. You definitely did a lot of live streaming.
Yeah, for crafty live streaming. Yeah. I was there, man. I was showing up. I just kept showing up. But it was fun. You started getting the people. I remember, and I feel bad when I think about the lack of live streaming I do now. Like the people that originally started following me, there's 2 that stick out in my head every time, and that's Rosa and her husband. I want to say Mark. Dadgummit, I know that's wrong, but like I would come out here at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, cup of coffee, hit go, live streaming, talking more than I was making contacts because the radio, HF radio here for years doesn't work until after lunch. I mean, I can hear people great before lunch, but my signal never goes nowhere. I don't know what it is, but they were there every morning. Like she worked overnight and would come home. He'd be cooking her breakfast. I just got to know them folks, and then I feel like I kind of abandoned them, you know. But it'd be nice to get back into it.
You've got a admirer. Mike seems to know a lot about the great Joe Brett there, from a long time. I don't know, Mike, do you want to tell us something? You got a little boy crush or something going on there?
Mike's been around a long time as well. I remember making some contacts, and while he was out on his POTAs and stuff like that, I would hunt Mike down a good bit. I've lacked on that too. And talking about that, you mentioned Helm Alert earlier.
Yeah.
Ever since my iPhone has went to iOS 26 and up, Helm Alert has ceased to work. And like everything is set. I've went through it multiple times. I've deleted it, reinstalled it, logged out, logged back in. Everything's set on the web. Like my Seed Studio, I got one of those Seed Studio Meshtastic, it's called a Sense Cap indicator. It's got like a 4-inch screen on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like Meshtastic, so I recently reprogrammed it to be a Helm Alert screen. So it just sits on the desk and displays Helm Alert. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't tried another phone. I guess I could try that, but I don't.
Yeah, well, the short answer to that, I've done a whole video series on it, so I've seen a few people like yourself have some of those issues. The problem is that the Helm Alert app is not really an app; it's just it's a browser-based kind of shortcut thing. It's not as clean as an app should be in terms of how it does it. I'm noticing more problems with iOS 26 now. I don't know whether it just doesn't handle the notifications well or how the notifications do it. But like I get one or two, people that I have in my Helm Alert that constantly just come through, and I have them like muted enough that they should only come through maybe once because they're super active, but I get them like 25 times in one shot. So I'm with you. I don't know what the deal is, but there is something going on.
Ed in chat says it's working for him. So
you got to use it.
I
don't know. Maybe there's a threshold there because I've got a lot of people in a lot of my alerts and stuff like that. So I've got to maybe go back and do a little cleanup to see if there's some problems there or some enhancement that they made a change. But
my list consists of maybe a little over 40 people. It's not a very big list. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got like a lot of like weird like alerts that are like multiple groups of people, like call signs and stuff like that, and that usually tends to cause a lot of like weird false positives or stuff like that, where I get like, instead of getting like one in, like if I get 4 notifications, there's a threshold that Helm Alert says that send me just one every hour, don't send me 4 of them. I get 4 of them. So yeah, I'm sure that's probably what you sound like you were having problems with.
And that's kind of what makes me wonder. The only thing that I've changed that's not default is the way the notification is read, the wording of it. So I figured out you could customize it. So I went through and made it more entertaining for me to read. And it's, instead of saying instead of saying N1JUR is spotted on 14200 or whatever, it says, "Hey, Eric's been spotted." It's got a whole different, and maybe that had something to do with it.
You might be onto something. I'll have to go back. I don't have mine customized too well, but I do have some customization. So interesting. Yeah, it's a great tool, but it is, with enhancements have been, a little bit too obnoxious for me as well.
Well, that's during the week I would learn to use the pause button because everybody wants to go POTA during the week while I'm stuck in the office.
I'm with you. I know. I Keith AC1RH, that man literally activates every day, and I get about 20 to 22 alerts every day from like the 6:30 to 9 a.m. time frame when he operates, because that's when he does it. He just goes out every day, no matter cold, snow, whatever. He's out there activating. He feels like he owes those people out there who hunt him to be out there during those times, no matter what the conditions are. And he's a phenomenal man. We've had him on before, but
I thought I fixed that problem or got around that problem when I'm like, hey, I got my 705 here and I can remote it, right? So I hooked the HF antenna up to it because here in the shack, the 705 is my 2-meter radio. And so the problem was not only just having 10 watts to try to get out remote, but the biggest problem was my office has no sound dampening, and everybody on my floor was like, "What is he saying?" I'm like, "KD5, what? Kilo 5, what?" So
Yep.
I just kind of left that alone instead of having to explain it every time I try to make contact.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, we need to kind of sidebar. So obviously the Joe Brett was, humming along with YouTube World and making things happen and doing all these great things. When did you bump into the crew at the clubhouse and how much were you involved in the original kind of like, hey, this sounds like a great idea. Let's go do this. Were you an instigator, or you were just kind of like, hey, let's just see what happens and see if it sticks to the wall?
I was probably more of, let's see what, hey, if y'all really want to do this, I don't think it's a good idea, but we'll try it. And
smoking from the Joe Brett.
Well, Steve said something similar, that he didn't think it was a good idea, but
yeah. So I guess to start from the start on that, as I was trying to grow my YouTube and everything, I was paying attention and realized how important it is to grow a community. And I already had grown some, had some followers like Rosa and her husband and stuff, and others. Mike, he was in there a lot, and just folks. So I already kind of had a handful of people that would show up when I went live and everything. So I've noticed that Discord was a great way to grow your community, because one thing about YouTube Live, once you end the live, then the chat dies 15 seconds later or something, and the conversation's over, and those people have to wait for you to go back live again before they can talk. Not if they can go to Discord, and it's 24/7. And I don't really know how. I guess after I would end a live or something, I would jump over and go into the video chat of the Discord, and there was a group of us in there, and so the original 6 of us would always be like the last guys standing at night and stuff, just shooting the crap, and we were really vile. And I believe it was, I'm pretty sure it was Izzo. It was like, why don't we bring this to YouTube? And I'm like, we can't bring this to YouTube. We'll have to be answering questions with somebody knocking at our door. We can't talk about this stuff on YouTube. And you're like, oh no, let's try it. And we can calm it down, It's like, all right, let's try it. So the thing was, when we logged off the last time of Discord, before we logged into that first show on YouTube, the last thing that I had agreed to, that we would do this once a month. And I'm like, okay, I can probably handle once a month. And well, as we're ending the live show on that first live show, Shane or Steve, somebody says, we'll see you next Tuesday. And we go off there and we get back in the green room. I was like, the hell you mean we'll see you next Tuesday? Next Tuesday next month? No, we're going to do this every week. The hell, who said? You got a mouse in your pocket? And there we are. We're every Tuesday, the show about nothing but everything. So.
Wow.
I mean, it's a big commitment, really to show up. Y'all know, hey, y'all do so much that more than I see, because you're always posting, and you just don't have time to watch everybody's stuff anymore. And
not at all.
You just, we asked for it. I remember when I first started this, 2.0 was a big proponent in, hey, we need to grow ham radio YouTube and stuff, and boy, has it grown. And back when you had the Monday night playlist, you could sit through that, watch everybody's videos, but yeah, I stay so far behind on people's videos now.
It's funny you say that, because I went just a couple of days ago. I was like, I'm gonna go back to my watch later list, because that's usually I'll see something, I'll be like, I'll tag it, I'll go back to it later. My watch later list has got over 800 hours of videos that I have not had a chance to go back through. And I was like, all right, I gotta just delete these, because I feel bad. I'm just never gonna go back. By then, I've seen 4 reviews of this radio already or whatever.
Yeah, I'm guilty of sometimes just turning on somebody's YouTube video, hitting the like button, and going on to what I was going to do or something. But
you mean good, Joe? We know.
I do. I always try to help the algorithm and hit the like button.
It's
well, make sure that you also throw a comment in there.
I know
too,
that's what it's all about. Is the comment.
That's what I was going to get at. I also do a lot of watching YouTube on my TV, and I ain't got a keyboard and mouse on my TV. Call me slacking, but
I don't either.
it didn't come with my TV, so.
Do you have a smartphone? That's all I have to say.
Yeah. There's if you ever see me in a chat away from a Tuesday night, then I'm usually watching on my TV and got my phone in my hand. So
every once in a while, I've seen you on a few HR2Os, and I'm just like, wow, Joe Brett, man, I don't expect him, anywhere else except a Tuesday night. That's just kind of where my brain goes. But
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's always surprising when Joe Brett pops in on my stuff, because it's like, holy shit, look at that. There's Joe Brett.
Yeah. I may not be able to commit, but just a little bit. But I try to come in, say something, hit the like button, let you know, waving hello to you there.
Yeah, no, it's appreciated, man. It's always good to see you.
And
it was great to meet you at Huntsville.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, Paul gets all the great handshaking and bat packs, pat backs or whatever. The good old punch in the shoulder. Hey, good to see you. Kind of handshakes. But I'll eventually get moving. My different place, different life kind of thing right now. But once that changes, we'll see where we go. I got to-do list to get to Huntsville, to-do list to get to Hamcation at least once, and maybe Dayton a couple of times. It's a little closer, but yeah, you have to live vicariously through all the rest of us.
Right. Yeah. That's we had started. I started making. 2.0 used to tell everybody it was always the punchline. If you want to see Joe Brett, come to Huntsville. He don't show up anywhere else. So I started going to Dayton 2 years ago. Was my first Dayton, and then I went last year. And but I won't be able to make it this year. I made the decision. I'm going back to Huntsville only this year, mainly because I've already paid for it. But
well, it's getting harder and harder right here to get a spot in Huntsville more than it is Dayton.
Oh, it is. It's ridiculous. And I've already told them, we got to pick out some more state parks and stuff, because eventually we're going to be out of this one. Or some of us are anyway.
Well, it's going to only take one where it's just like you guys go a little party too hard, and might put you over the edge.
The park's been great to us, so absolutely great to us.
So curious, Mama Noelle ever gonna want to get her ticket? Is that ever kind of she obviously supports you in it, but no desire to get her ticket?
She is perfectly fine with just being occasional third party traffic. I've quit aggravating her about it. She is not going to be one of those that because her husband's a licensed ham, she's not going to be one either. So I just have to hold the mic and tell her third party traffic. Yeah. So say hi to Eric and Paul, and she'll say hi, but that's about it. But yeah, she's completely supportive, so I can't complain too much.
So you obviously you got how many kids? 2?
We got 4 altogether. 2 boys, 2 girls.
4 altogether. Any of those, ever want to take after dad and doing ham radio, or no?
Well, my oldest son at one time was interested in getting a radio put in his room, and that never really went anywhere. But I think he was more on. He was starting to get into his teenage years, and
damn girls.
He was more when he was mentioning radio, I think he was more like CV stuff. But I mean, he was kind of interested in what I'd done too, and like. My youngest, I thought I kind of had him hooked. I don't know how old he was then, 5, 6 years old, somewhere around there. And I had Grid Tracker up doing FT8 one day, and he sits here and did 15 contacts sitting next to me. I showed him how it worked and what you do, how to click on the call signs, and he just loved seeing the dotted lines go across the screen, showing where he's making contact.
It's like watching war games, early versions of war games that we used to play as kids.
Yeah. But yeah, and then they're like, I think we like girls more, so.
Trust me.
Pussy power.
Well, no different on the other end. The good old D task gets in the way too. With my daughter gets her ticket. And I'm like, sweet, let's start working on getting a radio. Oh, I got a boyfriend. I'm busy. No radio. Hasn't materialized. I'm like, Dad, hey, there you go. I love that antenna.
That's not what it's in the box. You
I know.
DTOS instead of ATOS. I didn't know if you wanted to see it.
Oh, dude, totally fine. I'm sure none of our, Patreon listeners have mentioned anything in the chat. So,
Careful when you open the box because it just flops out. You gotta be careful. Like, I've never avoided an antenna whip before.
Yeah,
but,
that antenna needs a blue pill.
You don't want to get that close to the face. Just keep that away from the face at all costs.
It gets to swinging around, and it's like, all right, I got to put you back up.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I'll forget to put it back in the box, and one of the youngest comes out and says,
"Oh boy, Grandpa, what's that?" Oh, that's my walking aid. Put that one aside, son. Let's redirect you. Wow. Yeah, man. I have to say, now that you got the ATAS and everything, what's your you as much a believer in it? Now that you got it.
Well, I definitely I enjoy it for the convenience. It is very convenient to just sit in your car and
play radio.
And play radio. So a lot of times when we go camping, one of the places we go camping just happens to be on the POTA list. And I didn't discover that till we done been there twice. And I'm like, holy crap. Cause I was looking to see what the nearest POTA was. I'm like, man, I need to go find a POTA park. Cause this isn't actually a state park. So I didn't figure it would be there, but evidently it got included in the first round of POTA list and it's remained. So yeah, the first time I threw up some wire and operated on the picnic table and stuff. And then I got the ATOS and I just sit in the truck and make contacts, but it is a little aggravating because I know by the signal strength of being received on my usual setup on the picnic table with the, 100 something, 60 something foot of wire that I usually have easier, time of making that contact with stations being that strong and stuff. So
yeah, we already shared that story, Mike. You missed that a little earlier. I shared that, or the guys are not plugging in a certain set antenna in trying to work you on AM. So yes, they would agree.
Yeah. I did sometimes with the ATOS. I got the ATOS fender mounted. Got one of those fender mounts. So then I was like, where was we at? We was at I guess it was Huntsville last year. Instead of setting up a whole new radio setup outside the camper, I just took the ATOS off and wired the infed, put right the infed, the infed onto it, and used my push-up pole to get it up in the trees. But it worked all right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the truck video. I mean, in essence, like that's the reason why I have that bumper mount, because I didn't want to have to screw into my ATAS, and I wanted to be able to run a wire or vertical or anything like that off of the bed, because it's comfortable in the truck if the weather sucks or whatever. I'm a comfort guy, man. I'm never going to change.
That. Yeah, that was slick. I like that.
Built for speed, built for comfort, not speed, as they say. So. Got anything there, Gretch, you want to throw in?
No, I just, I think, it's about damn time that Joe Brett came on the show. I always loved listening to the sultry sound of Joe Brett's voice. It's so calming, it's soothing.
You hear it too much, you make it harder.
And then I got to meet him in Huntsville, and you get a little bit of Joe Brett's video in my video of my parachute mobile from Huntsville, because Joe Brett was kind enough to take some video of the POTA duo making contact with Carlos and I up in the sky. That was a hell of a good time, man.
I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit. So, ham radio duo, Mike and Becky, they come. I'm sitting in my truck waiting for Paul and Carlos to jump. I got the radio tuned in. I've got the MFJ Big John. All right. If you're not familiar with the Big John from MFJ, that's like the biggest, tallest 2-meter 440 mobile antenna I've ever saw. But I mean, it's girthy and long, and it's gotta have gotta have a great wavelength to it. But so anyway, they're walking their dog up the hill in front of the camper, and they both got a handheld in their hand. And they're like, "Hey, are you waiting for Paul and Carlos to jump?" I was like, "Yeah, what are y'all doing with those? Put those away. Come get this microphone. You're working with 5 watts. I got 50. We're finna knock them off course." And but what's so hilarious in the I believe the video I shared with Paul for his video was they're code operators. They just never as much talk. As I don't do code, like I've got a few code contacts. I actually surprised them in one of their videos where I got on here and used their straight key that they 3D printed and made an unsolicited code contact with them, which was horrible, but it was fun.
It was copied.
Yeah. But what was so precious, you got to love this couple, was they're holding the mic and you can tell they're getting excited because you can start to hear, I made my contact, so I passed it off to them. And they look at me, Mike looks at me and goes, "What do I do?" And I'm like, when you get ready to talk, like we're talking now, push and hold the button. Don't tap it or dot. Just push and hold and talk. They're finna click the microphone. So.
Yep. Yeah, we've had them on. They are an awesome couple. But yeah they only speak one language.
Yeah, it was great. What else, Paul? I'll cut you off.
No, I'm kind of bummed that I won't get to see it at Hamcation. But thanks to Vern, because I was a fool. And when I left Huntsville last year, I was like, it'll be no big deal. I'll just book in January. Now, I've been checking relentlessly and everything is sold out. But Vern said that he's got a couple extra RV slots that he reserved, so I can just get one off of him. So yeah, this will be the first year I'll make all 3. And so, nice. So I'll get to see it at Huntsville.
We'll be there. So, I think we're in the same spot, that little pull-through spot, but we all congregate to the same area. So
you're going to be
and just so everybody knows, Joe Brett is a fantastic guy to freaking hang out with.
Oh, thanks, Paul.
Well, he attracts everybody else, and it's one of those things that, like, you hang around with those that are, going to attract others, and maybe it's a catch-22 when you hang out with Steve. You never know if he's going to drink too much and fall asleep on you, or he's just going to be like the life of the party. So you got to kind of pick and choose. Well, so. This kind of, what would you want to leave somebody with that they might not know you for, Joe, or, just any words of wisdom or anything you want to kind of wrap the show up with?
As far as me, in a nutshell, I kind of like, I guess what Paul kind of said. I'm not hard to get along with. I'm not hard to please. If you're coming to look for an argument, you're probably going to get more mad because I didn't argue with you. It's a funny story. There was a guy tried to debate me at Huntsville one year, and he got pissed off and walked off in the dark because I had my beliefs, he had his, but there was no argument, right?
there was no middle ground. Yep.
I don't care where you come from or whatever. It's just if you're a good person, I want to hang out with you. We can chill. So.
Well, it's definitely true. I mean, you deal with all of the antics and crap that we dole out here from corporate. So, and we give the shit back to as well. So I always enjoy it. Like, I don't like being called corporate, but hey, I'm okay with it. I'll embrace the title. It makes you feel.
You kind of titled yourself that, right?
Not intentionally. I had to have a shtick. We had to have something going there, and it just stuck. It's it's the same thing with. I don't understand why we are the boys up north, but we've always been the boys up north, and we can't shake it, and it's just kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, that's right. But other than that, ham radio wise, I see people needing contacts confirmed in Mississippi sometimes. I'm always good if you want to email me. My email is good on QRZ. Shoot me an email, schedule a contact. I'll come out here in the shack. I'll get my butt out of the recliner. I'll come make a contact. And as soon as I close my logger, it automatically uploads everything. So we'll get it confirmed. And as far as this year with the Ham Fest, I really hated that. I really honestly don't have a desire to go to Orlando, mainly because of the Disney trip I took. I never want to go back. So,
dude, Disney is a good enough reason to make anybody hate Orlando.
Yeah, that's true.
I would like to go eventually when I guess the mood's right, to just have more time to hang out with those that get there, because I know there's people that can, for location and travel distance, can only make certain ones. A lot of reason why you'll see me probably at Huntsville every time, because it's just a 3 or 4 hour drive for me. So, but this year, Mama Noel had a big surgery at the beginning of the year, so we got some expense with that. We started a business on the side. Been some expense with that, of course, and
true. Yep.
So I was like, I'm not going to do dating this year, and try to find a place to live while I'm there. Last year, I shook up with the Ape and Chuck and Jim and Steve. Had to sleep with one eye open the whole time. They were a good group to be around. So,
them firemen are.
Yep.
What are you doing in my room, Chuck?
Why are you standing over me, Chuck? why you stop staring, Chuck? Oh man, we got to get you up here sometime too. I mean, if you guys ever get back into your camping travels and stuff like that, we'd love to have you kind of hang up. I know Jason's always been balking about wanting to
Acadia.
Acadia. Yeah. So if you ever want to do 0001, maybe we can.
It'd be awesome. Is me being a homeboy from Mississippi. I don't get out a whole lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm just saying, I don't get out a whole lot. I got to thinking one time, a couple years ago or 3, we went to Texas to stay with Vern and Renee, and we had Mike, Ham Radio 2 with us. And we made the time to, when we was leaving Vern and Renee, we went on down to Galveston Island and stayed the night with Jason and his wife at their house, and got to spend some time with them. And when we was planning that trip, I got to realizing that I haven't been outside of Mississippi except for states that actually border Mississippi. And maybe that wasn't very far, into those states. I went to North Carolina one time on mistake. And Georgia, accidental. Like, went into the state line and then turned around. Oops, I went too far and come back. But for work, they sent me to, it was Vena, Virginia, just right outside of D.C. So I got to walk around the National Mall and the D.C. area there for a little bit. But that was absolutely the furthest I've ever been up toward y'all's way. So it would be great to get out and explore some more.
Well, if you guys are ever in that mood or desire, we can we'd love to have you. We're trying to do the 24-hour POTA, at least once a year there and keep it going. And so it'd be kind of cool to have you up and hang out with us in the Northeast during our nice seasons, as long as it doesn't frickin' rain.
Right.
Well, let me put a caveat on that, right? Because the nice season in New England, right, is like the last week of August to like the third week of September.
Yeah.
And that's about it. You get about 4 weeks and everything is beautiful, and it's a perfect temperature. You go check out all the scenery and the scenic views and everything, and then it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. That's our New England. So
ours is here in North Mississippi anyway, is right after Halloween. So November to Christmas, because Christmas is a great time to visit Mississippi. It's always 60 or 70 degrees. But any other time where you're going to be dodging tornadoes, ice storms, or rain.
Just don't call me Dorothy.
Yeah. We have 2 tornado seasons a year. So
wow. No,
fall and spring.
I'll handle all the snow and the freaking hurricanes that we have every maybe 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I don't like anything that sucks my house up and drops it somewhere else.
Yeah. You're talking about it'd been 32 years since we had an ice storm that we, to the point significance that we just recently had here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaving the office the other day, and I kind of wish I could share this photo, but I didn't have it queued up. Didn't think about it. But I'm leaving the office the other day, sitting in my car, casually, not in no hurry, leaving a little early, and I hear this god-awful rumble noise, just enough to make you look up going, what is that? And dude, the size of the boulder that sunk the Titanic comes flying off the roof and crashes onto this lady's brand new SUV.
Oh.
It bounced like a monster truck just ran over it at 90 miles an hour. I was like, oh my gosh. So wow. I'm like, first, let me back my car away from the front of the vehicle, building.
Yep.
Yeah. And then let me go tell the girl that works on my floor that was parked right next to me, the only other one that was parked in front of the building, to go move her car. And as I'm running back up into the building, I look over at her car and I go, too late. That one's already happened too. Front of hers was smashed in. So that was interesting, man. I never thought about huge Titanic chunks of ice coming off the roof.
Dude, you ever want to check your shorts? And the reason why all of us New Englanders keep a second pair of boxers in the glove compartment is because the idiots forget to scrape their snow off the back of the cars, and they'll haul down highways, and all of a sudden you'll be like a good 20, not even 10 yards off of another truck or whatever, and this big giant like sheet of frozen snow ice comes barreling at you. When it hits the windshield, oh yeah, same thing. Yeah, we'll literally like smash your windshield, and like we have a lot of inexperienced idiots up here in New England. I don't know what it is, maybe the same in your area, but they'll freak out. They'll turn and jerk the wheel, and at that point, you got like a 9-car pile up, on a dry day.
Yeah, yeah. You learn not to travel behind the 18-wheelers and stuff.
Nope. Oh yeah, most of them at least are pretty good up here though.
A short time in my life that I had a Corvette, I'm cruising down the road on the interstate behind an 18-wheeler, and like it wasn't snowy or icy in my area, but where he come from, it was like an hour up the road, and that gave enough time for that stuff to melt enough to dislodge. And you saw this big chunk of sheet of ice just flying in the air, and there's nothing you can do.
Nope.
And luckily, it hit the top of the car and missed the windshield, but it just didn't do anything. But scary.
Crazy. All right. Well, we'll put a little bow on this tonight, dude. It was awesome hanging out with you, Joe. As always, thank you again for coming and spending some time with us. And definitely, if I'm sure we usually have a little bit more people there in the chat, but we understand it's New England. Something football, sports, whatever.
Sorry for those. Well, that's okay.
I'm just here for the commercials.
I'm sorry you realized that I actually can talk, and maybe a little bit more than what you expected.
I totally knew I was going to be like, yeah, this should be easy. Once Joe kind of just gets going, the conversation is just going to be like one of those, he's like one of those uncles you have that you just know if you ask them a quick question, it's going to turn into like a 3.5-hour conversation. And you're just like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
It was all good though. All good.
It was a short, there was a short amount of time that the doctor had put me on some ADHD medicine. And I told my wife I had a condition. She thought I grew out of it. No, I still got it. Well, I'd been taking it a couple of weeks, and I'm like, man, I'm finna throw this stuff in the garbage. Like, this ain't doing nothing for me. It ain't helping me. And she's like, oh, but it is. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, for one, you're not eating as much. You're only eating one plate at supper instead of two. And the number one thing is you can actually tell a story in like 3 minutes instead of 15. I'm like, I still threw it in the trash. So here we are 2 hours later.
Dude, I wouldn't have it any other way. Too good. All right, well, let's wrap this up here. As always, guys, thanks again for hanging out with us over here at Live Free and Ham. We truly appreciate everybody who supports the show, and we can't thank you enough. And as always, hey, if you want to connect with us, head over to the Discord. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always send us a voicemail. Please, Izzo, we love you, but, take a vacation for a little while. Give somebody else another chance, kind of, pass the torch on. You can always do that by calling us and leave us the voicemail at 978-233-1142. You can always support the show through our Patreon and buy us some beer links. And finally, head on over to livefreeandham.com, learn about the show, check out our latest swag, find all of the great contact info on our hosts. And as always, thanks again for listening from all of us at Live Free and Ham 7-3.
K5YVY.
77.
There we go. Nice.